Have you ever wondered how the Rigveda could survive for thousands of years with its verses, mantras, accents, and syllables preserved so precisely? No missing pages, no printing press. So, how did an ancient text remain so remarkably stable for generation after generation? The answer is one of the most extraordinary systems of memory ever created. The Vedas were not originally preserved as books. They belong to a tradition called Shruti. Literally means that which is heard. Generation after generation, teacher taught student. The hymns were spoken aloud, heard, repeated, and memorized. But this was not ordinary memorization. In the Vedic tradition, every syllable, accent, and pause mattered. The goal was not simply to remember the meaning, the goal was to preserve the exact sound. And this is where the system becomes extraordinary. But how do you protect thousands of verses from human error? The answer was not simply better memory, it was a system of recitation designed to catch mistakes. The Vedic tradition developed several highly structured methods of recitation known as Patha, like Samhita Patha, Pada Patha, and Krama Patha. But how did each of these methods actually work? Let's take them one by one. Samhita Patha, where the mantra flowed naturally just as it was used in recitation. Om Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. Then came Padapatha, where every word was separated and pronounced individually, making each syllable unmistakable. Om Tata Savituhu Varenyam Bhargaha Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyaha Yaha Naha Prachodayat. Krampatha carried the words forward in overlapping pairs. One word reinforced the next, creating a chain that was difficult to break. Om Tat Savituhu Saviturvarenyam Varenyam Bhargaha Bhargo Devasya Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi iti Dhimahi Dhiyo yaha Yo naha Naf prachodayat Prachodayat iti Prachodayat. In Jatapatha, the words were woven forward and backward in carefully structured patterns. Om Tatsavitus Savitus Tat Tat Savituhu Saviturvarenyam Varenyam Savitus Saviturvarenyam Varenyam Bhargo Bhargo Varenyam Varenyam Bhargaha Bhargo Devasya Devasya Bhargo Bhargo Devasya Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi Devasya Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi iti Dhimahi Dhiyo yo yo Dhiyo Dhiyo yaha Yo no no yo yo naha Naf prachodayat Prachodayat no naf prachodayat Prachodayat iti Prachodayat. And in Ghanapatha, those patterns grew even more intricate, repeating and interlocking until even the smallest mistake became almost impossible to hide. Om Tatsavitus Savitus Tat Tat Saviturvarenyam Varenyam Savitus Tat Saviturvarenyam Saviturvarenyam Varenyam Savitus Saviturvarenyam भर्गो भर्गो वरेण्यं सवितुस्सवितुस्वरेण्यं भर्गः वरेण्यं भर्गो भर्गो वरेण्यं वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य देवस्य भर्गो वरेण्यं वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य भर्गो देवस्य देवस्य भर्गो भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धीमहि देवस्य भर्गो भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि देवस्य धीमहि धीमहि देवस्य देवस्य धीमहि धीमहि इति धीमहि धियो यो धियो धियो यो नो यो धियो धियो यो नः यो नो यो नः प्रचोदयात् प्रचोदयानो यो नः प्रचोदयात् नः प्रचोदयात् प्रचोदयानो नः प्रचोदयात् प्रचोदयात् इति प्रचोदयात्. These were not different versions of the Veda. They were different ways of protecting the same Veda. If something changed, the different patterns could expose the error. So, the Veda was not protected by a library. It was protected by a trained human memory. But this raises the deeper question. Why protect a sound so carefully? Because in the Vedic worldview, speech was not merely communication. It was Vak. In the Devi Sukta of the Rigveda, Vak speaks not simply as human speech, but as a cosmic power through which knowledge is expressed and the world becomes knowable. Speech was understood as a bridge between thought and expression, between knowledge and transmission. This reverence for speech continued through Indian tradition. Saraswati, originally associated with the life-giving river, was also praised in Vedic tradition in connection with inspiration and later became deeply associated with learning, wisdom and refined speech. This is why the word mantra itself carries such depth. Manas means to think, to contemplate. Tra means that which protects or frees. So, once speech itself became something worthy of preservation, a syllable was never just a syllable. Its exact form mattered, its pronunciation mattered, its accent mattered. This is why mistakes in pronunciation were treated so seriously. One famous Vedic example concerns Tvashta. According to the tradition preserved in the Taittiriya Samhita, Tvashta performed a ritual seeking a son who would defeat Indra. But a change in the Vedic accent altered the meaning of the utterance. Instead of producing one who would slay Indra, the result became one whom Indra would slay. Whether we understand the story literally or symbolically, its message is clear. When sound carries intention, precision matters. A similar idea appears in the later Ramayana tradition through the story of Kumbhakarna, who is said to have intended Indrasan, the throne of Indra, but uttered Nidrasan, associated with sleep. Different traditions tell these stories differently, but they preserve the same underlying idea. Words were believed to have consequences, and therefore speech demanded discipline. The Vedic tradition took this idea to an extraordinary level. While many civilizations tried to preserve knowledge through monuments, inscriptions, and libraries, the Vedic tradition created something different: a living archive, a body of knowledge carried through trained voices, from teacher to student, from generation to generation. The Vedas survived not because they were placed somewhere safe. They survived because people became the place where the knowledge lived. And perhaps this is the most remarkable part. We often imagine civilization as something preserved in stone, temples, monuments, manuscripts, libraries. But India preserved one of its oldest bodies of knowledge in something far more fragile: the human voice. And that voice carried it across thousands of years. Because some knowledge is not meant merely to be stored, it is meant to be heard, it is meant to be remembered. And sometimes the oldest libraries in the world is not a building at all, it's a human being. If you believe the past still has a voice worth listening to, subscribe to the speaking thread.